Welcome to the family with
Mike Gelfand.
Oh, this mic's not.
How about this one? Try it again.
Mike Gelfand.
There it is. Now we're talking.
And Andy Bernard.
And Carmen Morales. Nobody believed that, did they?
No.
Carmen went downstairs to get a bottle of water. She'll be right back up. I'm telling you, you two together, a Cuban woman and a Jewish boy. Are you kidding me?
It's made in heaven.
It really is. There's no question about that. Here she comes. I can tell because she's making a lot of noise. Typical. We've known each other for like an hour now, and it's already a disaster.
It's nice.
Mike Gelfand is
Hi.
the man to your left,
Hi,
and
Mike.
my son Andy's right. Oh, you met Andy.
I did meet Andy.
Yep.
Yes, he looks like my wife. I know.
I've never seen your wife, but AJ, I saw AJ on the way out too.
Oh, you did? Yeah, he was leaving.
Mm-hmm.
He said he'd had enough.
Yeah, I get it.
He's
I get
all-
that a lot.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I could see that. That'll all work
This
out.
one's me. I think this one's me. There we go.
You
There
got
you
it?
go. Yeah.
Now you can hear yourself.
Yes. Well, and hear you better.
No, it's not a bad plan. So, Mr.
know-
Gelfand, what's the latest with you?
Same old. I got my 8th COVID shot on Monday,
8.
number 8.
8.
Mhm.
Why 8?
I never missed one. That's all.
Or they tell you to come on in?
Yeah. I got the the email from the Department of Health and Welfare,
Mm-hmm.
and they said, okay, you most people are like on their 3rd or 4th, but,
Load up. Yeah.
yeah.
You probably get priority though, right? You get to go front of the line.
Oh, at the
Frequent flyer.
yeah.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. I have my
Frequent flyer.
I have my own monogram coffee cup at the healthcare
Oh,
post,
nothing wrong with that.
and
so-
I always get the shot from a nurse.
Not a doctor.
I do not. Well, not a pharmacy tech. I have nothing
Oh,
against
yeah.
pharmacy techs,
Sure.
but I would rather get like the 10,000th injection from a nurse than like the 3rd or 4th from the pharmacy tech.
Yeah.
Who's like looking at the program on their computer as they're giving me the shot. Like, what do I do next?
Oh, you can see the YouTube video of the how to administer a
Yeah.
COVID shot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I thought it was like a kink. Like you're like, come here, you dirty little nurse. Give me that shot.
Oh,
Uh,
that's what it was.
Yeah,
Maybe,
that could be.
you know?
That's all
Mhm.
true.
So I spent the next 48 hours in agony, and now I'm fine.
After the shot, you had agony.
Yeah, well, usually it's about a like an 18-hour period where every pain I've ever had in my body comes back to me. Like, oh, I remember that neck pain from 1971. Yes.
Okay, I have to run this by all three of you and all the listeners
Hmm.
because I don't know why or when this happened. I have no clue. And maybe it was the COVID shots. Possible. If I get a shot now, it doesn't matter what it is in the shot, for about 15 minutes after every shot I get, I feel like I have to throw up.
Mm,
Huh.
yeah.
What,
Yeah,
what
I think
is-
that's you. I think that's a psycho.
Yeah,
I
what a
mean,
shock.
that's normal.
What a shock. Carmen turned on me. Who would have ever thought that
no,
would
I mean
happen?
like maybe like some sort of visceral reaction to it. Either that or maybe the shot itself triggers a memory of when you were a kid. Did you throw up when you got shots when you were a kid?
I don't think so, but maybe.
Hmm.
Who knows?
Like a vagal response.
A vagal?
Mhm.
You know, the vagal.
Is that like
response.
Kegel?
It's not well.
Yeah,
It's I know
Kegel,
it
yes.
sounds sort of erotic, but no, it's just like people like maybe when they're 6 or 7 they get an injection and they make the mistake of looking at it
Sure.
and then they faint, and then every time after that they faint when they get a shot.
Some people do that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
exactly right. Now this started happening just literally a few months ago,
Really?
and I don't know why.
How
that
many
was there.
shots are you getting, dude? What?
Well,
like,
I'm
what
a
are you?
heroin addict, so
Yeah. I
Oh,
mean,
she believes
snort
me.
it.
I just love that she looks at me like, oh, I could see that.
Well, just snort it like everybody else
Snort
does.
it.
Or
Well,
inject it in your toes. You know?
it's that showbiz thing.
Yeah.
You've seen it.
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
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 I don't know what the hell that's all about.
I know this much. After I get my injection,
Mm-hmm.
I have to tell the nurse to sit down for 15 minutes.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Because she's overwhelmed by your beauty?
Well, not necessarily the beauty part. No,
No.
sarcasm maybe.
Well, sarcasm,
Yeah.
maybe. Mike Gelfand, sarcastic. Whoever heard of it?
I just can't shake it.
I'm telling you, though, you know
He
what?
seems so earnest too.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's part of the ruse.
Well, you you're a comic, so you kind of have to keep people off balance just a little bit.
Never really knowing what's going to happen
Right,
next.
exactly.
Yeah, you should have heard the last hour. This
Oh.
guy doesn't know what the hell I'm going to say.
I heard it, and that was from the elevator.
There you go. Well, it's probably true.
Yeah.
Probably true.
Well, I am a short woman in a male-dominated field. I have to yell.
Tell me about it. I'm a
No.
short guy in a male-dominated world.
I was going to ask you a question. Joey's Cuban too, isn't he?
Mhm.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
I think two Cubans getting together at a little comedy, that has to be pretty good.
Yeah, it
Wow.
is. It's fun.
Takes
I
you
mean, I
right
don't know,
back
it
to
doesn't-
1954, doesn't
It
it?
does. It was about 1954 too. You're right about that. All of a sudden it's like Cuba out.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's very, very true. I was just talking, I did want to bring this up again because if you ever do get a chance to go to Cuba,
Mhm.
do you know where your family's from in Cuba?
There's three different parts. It's like one of them's like it's a real rural tiny town,
Mhm.
and then I have a family that's also in Havana and stuff like that too. So, why would tell me the thing you want to say?
Cuba is, I really wish they were keeping up the buildings more because they're just letting the infrastructure fall apart and all the rest of it, which they shouldn't. It's a beautiful island,
Mhm.
nicest people. We had one prick, but I think he might have been mentally ill,
Mhm.
or maybe I just set him off. That is a possibility too. But no, you got to go to Cuba someday. It is spectacularly beautiful. We went by ship.
Gotcha.
We're on a cruise. Stopped there, and then we.
But you only
stayed in
got to
Cuba.
go to the resort part, right? You didn't get to go to the whole island.
No, we went to the whole island.
That's
Yeah,
a short
when
cruise.
was this? Yeah.
What's that?
A short cruise.
Oh, from Key West.
Yeah.
From Key West to Cuba.
90
Not very
miles.
long. 90
You
miles.
don't even have time to vomit.
Not if I get.
Did he get a shot or?
No, I didn't get any shots. No.
Seasick?
No, don't get seasick either.
No.
I do. I got to take the Dramamine.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. My parents were fishermen and I would be out there and they would go, well, Carm's chumming the waters again. Cause I would be
Oh,
over the
chum.
side. Yeah.
You're chumming. Yeah.
I'd be over the side.
So you got to go to Cuba. You got to get there.
Okay.
No, I'm
Well, do you want me to
serious.
swim there or float on?
Yeah, well,
They won't let-
well,
Well, not only that, but now there's like restrictions. You can't leave the resort area and stuff
Oh,
like that.
really?
Yeah. It's not great. It's not a great time to visit.
the people are some of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet.
Yeah.
They're very, very nice people. Now, I don't have a lot. You can find some chicken to eat in Cuba too, because there's not a whole lot
Only
of
on the resort. You can't get any off of the
You
resort.
can't get anything off the resort.
They won't. And what's maddening is they won't let me bring it. Like if I bring
No.
a bunch of stuff,
Nope.
they take it all. They won't let me bring it. It's infuriating.
And by the way, I should mention all the buildings kind of look a little run. Matter of fact,
A little. Some of them,
I
the
know,
in
they're
the
falling
center,
over.
yeah, is the center's caved in, and
Yep.
Well, you
They
know,
don't-
for years, the people in Cuba were eating the Cargill chicken patties.
Oh yeah, that's
like,
right.
Like
Yep.
millions of them being shipped
Yep.
there. But that was the Castro era. You know, when
Mhm.
people were supposed to be able to get by on 800 calories a day.
Right.
And
Right.
they'd all get the little chicken patties. Now, of course, I'm familiar with these because my dad was in assisted living, and they like every Monday they would bring the chicken patty truck in. It was like this huge semi,
Yeah.
yeah. And
it was a big day. There was a parade. They're
Yeah.
like, the chicken patties are here.
Yeah, and they do have, of course, obviously it just makes sense. They have no taste at all.
That does make no sense.
So that's how they figured people might get by on 800 calories a day
Oh,
because
because they doesn't
you know,
taste like anything
like
anyway.
no one wanted a second.
That's true.
Yeah. Just the one.
Just one would be, yeah, it's enough.
Now, when you go, you have to go to the Copacabana. You have to, because they still put on the shows. These women come out, these beautiful women, and they're scantily clad. They're not naked or anything, but
Mhm.
all of them have about a 3-foot palm tree on their head, like a palm
Mhm.
tree hat. And they come out and they dance and they sing. The Copacabana was a great experience.
Oh, nice.
I mean, because you look back at all, you're way too young to remember this, but I Love Lucy show, he kept going back to,
I love Lucy.
oh, is it? But he kept talking about going back to Havana because that's where he was from and all the
Mhm.
rest of it. But to go sit there and watch the people at the Copacabana after you've seen it, well, I did on TV when I was a little boy back in the 50s.
Mhm.
So actually sit there and watch it in the real theater
Mhm.
is really cool.
You know,
It's
you
really
you
cool.
lost me at not naked.
They're not naked.
Yeah.
If they're
Yeah.
not
I
going to
just
whip
tuned
them
out
out,
after that.
if they're not going to take off
Come
their
on.
top, I mean, why even bother to go? Or
But I did have the image in my mind of the 3 feet high, palm trees on top of their head. Yeah,
with the
Oh,
naked
right.
breast.
And then their tits would be the coconuts. I get it.
exactly.
I get it. That makes sense.
So
Uh-oh,
far
the
she's got-
coconuts fell.
So far, Carmen has been in the studio for about an hour, and she's gotten both twat and tits out in that hour. So you're doing well.
As in
Well,
the
wait,
words, not the.
Are we FCZ? I
Oh yes, listen to
Oh,
what
I'm
Andy's
so
got to
sorry.
say.
My bad, Andy. I thought we were doing. My bad.
No, he just said something very nice about it.
Oh, what?
I said you got the words out,
Oh,
not the.
I was
no.
waiting.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the third T.
Yes,
I think it would be
Taint, I think, is
I
what
think-
it is.
No, there you go.
Sutami. I think would be good.
Tommy.
Tommy.
Just-
No, Sutami.
Oh, sue Tommy.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
no, let's not sue Tommy. Let's not do that.
Hey, it's happened before.
Oh yes, it has.
I was gonna
happened
say, should we do
before.
a class action? We'll do it together.
That's all I miss. I miss radio because I haven't had to give a deposition in a long time.
But from working with me. is that what
Well,
you're
I
saying?
don't blame it on you, but
Everybody else does.
people would see that KQRS sign and they'd say, "There's money there. We'll just make up some story about what
Yep.
they said."
I did a morning show, and Mike was on the show, as a matter
Mhm.
of fact, for 37 years in town.
Oh.
37 years was #1 rated show in America.
hmm
And then all of a sudden, the new people that took over decided that I should get fired.
Wow.
They told everybody else, though, that I retired. They lied.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that great? I was like,
Forcefully retired.
37 years of delivering billions of dollars, I'm sure, over the 37 years. No, we're going to change everything. They are now in 17th place. Nice move.
Mm.
It's a good idea.
17th.
I don't think there are 17
I was gonna
states
say,
in town.
Is there anyone in 18th place?
I don't think so. No, it just got. But see, I'd rather talk about things like, and I'm very serious. If everybody gets a chance to go to Cuba, you should go, because the people are so incredibly nice. You got to eat a lot of chicken, because the chicken, and again, you said the people don't get to eat that. Only the
Mm-mm.
people in the resorts do.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like my family. They're always like, please bring soap. Like they can't get
Yeah,
body wash or
yeah.
anything like that. And yeah,
One really cool thing. This would be for Mr.
because there's
Gelfand.
only one chicken truck a month.
One chicken truck a month.
Yeah, for the whole island. So
How many people live in Cuba now, Andy? Do you know how many people actually live on the island of Cuba?
Yes, let me just consult my brain and nothing else.
Well, no, you've got to.
he's buffering.
My brain says 11 million.
11 million in the whole thing.
Mm.
That
Yeah.
doesn't include Haiti, too, though, either. Oh, that's in the
Well, why
Dominican
would
No,
it?
that's
Republic.
different.
That's in the
It's a
Dominican
different
Republic.
island.
What am I talking
Is that what
about?
you were thinking about this
No.
whole time?
No.
Okay.
No. But I've been to the
Completely
Dominican.
different country.
No, the reason I bring that up is because I did play golf. You asked me
Mm-hmm.
if I played golf, and I played golf in the Dominican Republic. And I look at these beautiful mountain ranges, just gorgeous.
Mhm.
I said, oh my God, I'll have to wander up there. He goes, don't go up there.
Mm.
And I said, why not? And he goes, because there's Haitians up there and they will kill you. I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. I will not go up the mountain range.
Have you ever been to Jamaica?
I've been to Jamaica. Yeah.
Did you see any reindeer there? Do you know about the reindeer
Yeah, what-
infestation?
Is it the little ones? The little tiny reindeer?
Well, those are key deer you're thinking.
Oh,
of.
those are key deer. I'm
Yeah.
thinking of. That's
Yeah,
exactly
no,
right.
proper reindeer that live up
Really?
there. It started with like a handful of them. Like there was there for people to see something from really like an exotic animal, because a
Yeah.
reindeer is exotic in Jamaica, right?
Yeah.
And then they started breeding and they got loose, and now they have so many reindeer and none of the vegetation is the food so it's like
Oh.
it's decimating the island
Oh.
with all of these reindeer, dude.
That surprised me.
I was like, oh, this is where Santa farms them. I think that's what it is. I think that's where Santa's keeping all the reindeer.
They don't have Christmas in Cuba. Don't try to make it
It's
up.
not cute. I'm talking about Jamaica.
I know, but you don't get to believe in Christmas.
No.
You're out of the mix
Why?
because you're Cuban. That's why.
You don't think there's Jesus in Cuba?
Oh, they're not out loud.
What are you talking about?
Well, Castro was not a big religious man.
But
was he?
Castro's
Yeah,
dead.
he's been dead for a while.
Well, I know that, but he kind of left a mark, didn't he?
That doesn't mean you can't believe in God or
Well, I see. Okay.
or Christian religion.
I think you're thinking of My Neighborhood.
All the Jews. There's no, yeah, that's true. And no Catholics, all Jews, no question about it. I don't get it.
No, I don't. I'm kind of squeezed between the Jews and the Catholics, though.
How?
Well, because on one side are the Jews, and the other side there are the Catholics.
That's not on the other side.
I
It's
don't think
closer.
they wouldn't be considered opposite each other.
No.
One's usually more of a continuation of the other.
Boy, that's not what I was told.
All the Protestants are the ones that hate you. I mean, come on, let's be honest.
Well, yeah, that's the thing they have in common.
Catholics do not hate Jews.
Jews and Catholics both spend a lot of time on the Old Testament, so
Yes.
Mhm.
See, Gelfand.
there's a lot in common there.
See?
Mhm.
So all they ever do is
Well,
give,
yeah,
give.
you know, and it always depends on whether you're talking about, because every religion now has its orthodoxy.
Yeah. Oh, yes,
You know,
absolutely.
because everything
Yep.
has to go to an extreme.
It's what, Chaldean Christian? Is that the Catholic way over the top deal?
Really? Okay.
I think you're thinking of charismatic.
Charismatic Catholic.
They're
What
pretty over
Chaldean?
the top.
Chaldean is what then? Chaldean Christians are.
I was thinking of Pentecostal. Those are people who are
Pentecostals. Yeah.
a little bit hardcore for me, I think.
What is the upside? They think they act like assholes and it's going to get them into heaven quicker.
I think. Well, I mean, it's just so strict.
It's
I don't.
very strict.
Yeah, like I remember when I dated a dude that was whose whole family was Pentecostal, and they called me a harlot because I was wearing
Harlot.
capri. Yeah, I was wearing capri pants, and their women aren't allowed to wear pants.
Harlot
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, this one with the pants,
with the
so worldly, like a
'Cause you're wearing
harlot."
pants.
Yeah, it was wild.
God, you would think they would like in the.
I mean, they
pants to
weren't
cover
wrong.
it
I did engage in coitus with their son in a Mitsubishi Mirage later that day.
Oh
But
my God! Well, I guess we're getting all it. Who are you, P Diddy?
ew.
Oh, she goes to you.
That's the worst thing P.
There
Diddy
was
ever did.
consent. Okay,
that-
there was consent. Diddy.
Is that as bad as it sounds?
Sounds pretty bad.
Here's the thing: if you want a little bit of juicy, the
Little bit
theory
of
is
juicy, okay.
is that they confiscate. The reason that the FBI took all of that baby oil is because it was laced with GHB.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because normally the
Ah.
FBI wouldn't care about 1,000 bottles of baby
1,000
oil.
bottles.
Yeah, they wouldn't care about it, but
Well, it would
They
take me like a
confiscated all of
month
it.
to go through all that.
Yeah, exactly.
that's why one arm is so jacked.
Mhm.
Ugh.
Look at that muscle he's got built up there. What'd you find out about Chaldean Christians, Andy?
They're from Assyria and they are Christian. That's about it.
But it doesn't say how harsh it is or non-harsh it is.
Not really.
Nothing
I
like
mean,
that.
Being in Assyria, they do a lot of getting murdered. So
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
not great.
It all works out in the end. Now I want to go to Cuba again. This is your fault.
It is my fault.
Mm-hmm.
I again don't recommend it right now, but yes, because I have a friend that just went and it said it was gnarly. But
Mm.
That's too bad.
maybe just preserve the nice memory you have of it.
Do that instead of going back.
Yes.
I'm a lot bigger than most Cubans. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen some of those baseball players.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
They
No
actually
question about
they
it.
wear heels. That's why they seem taller. The baseball players.
They
No.
wear
They
heels.
have
I know that.
lifts.
Yes,
in
they
those-
have lifts in their
in their
shoes.
cleats.
It's all true. So, Gelfano, what else is happening in the world? I know you're keeping your finger on the pulse.
Mhm.
Well, I'm keeping my pulse on the finger, so
Thank you.
it's it's a lonely life, Tom.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm gonna be. See, I everybody says this, but like 3 weeks from now, it's like it'll all be done. We'll start to love each other again.
Oh, yeah, I can see that happening.
It's never gonna happen.
Not going to happen.
No.
Why? Okay, so this is a good representation. Andy's here. I'm here. Then we have a nice Jewish man, a nice Cuban woman. What is wrong with people? Why are they so incredibly angry?
Well, go ahead by all means.
Well, a lot of people ask me because they think I know something about this stuff, and obviously I don't know any more than anyone else. But they ask me about this thing. They're hearing this phrase a lot these days: identity politics. And they're
Oh,
saying,
yeah,
and they're
yeah.
saying, what is identity politics? And like I thought about it, and I finally realized what it is. Identity politics means nobody gives a shit about character anymore.
That's what it is. No
Yeah.
character
Right.
at all.
Remember when we were just lads, and probably going into our 30s, we'd see these polls, the constant political polls, and they would
Mhm.
put everything in categories. They would ask people, well, how do you feel about this? Or, what are your priorities? And we'd see economy, of course.
Right.
We'd see things like healthcare, gone on, but on that list would be character, right?
Right.
That was a big thing. Like, what do you
having
think of the
character,
person's character?
Yep.
That's disappeared. They don't even bother to ask people anymore.
Really?
Yeah, because nobody cares about character.
Yeah,
anymore.
because the characters are cartoons. That's why it's
That's
cartoon
about it.
characters.
Yeah,
Is the only
pretty much.
You know how upset my mother would be if she were still alive, knowing the character doesn't matter anymore. That's all that kept my family together, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, well, my dad, same thing.
Yeah. Yep.
That was a big deal to him, and I didn't want to have to tell him, Dad, nobody cares about character anymore.
Nobody cares.
No.
Yeah, it'd be pretty.
Well,
tough.
remember when Trump said, and he was absolutely right, by the way. He was absolutely.
Oh my God, Andy!
Whoa.
Right down the day the Gelfand said that Trump did something right.
Yeah.
He nailed it. It was 2016 when he said, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and I would still get their votes. I would get everybody's vote. Nobody would care, he said. No, and he was right.
And he was right. That unfortunately he was right.
Yeah.
Why? This is people your age. It's your fault. How old are you?
37.
37. So you're okay. You're 2 years. The thing that I saw last night, I did a lot of reading on it. The 18 to 34 demo right now
Mm-hmm.
is totally moving in the other direction they thought they would be. And the
How
reason
so?
is because of character. I guess a lot of them are they're moving away from, the natural politics of a young person looking. They just said basically that these two political parties have gotten so filthy that they don't really want anything to do with any of them.
That's what I was talking about at the
Yeah.
earlier is
Yeah.
people just
Yep.
were more willing to dissociate because nobody has their best interest
No.
at all. Like,
Nobody does.
no, and that goes back to the other thing I was saying is they're not even lying to us in a way that seems palatable that there is
Yeah.
no elusive way where they're not really caring about us, but at least putting it on like they are.
See, I never gave the Italians credit for their approach to politics because in Italy there are about 122 different parties.
Mhm.
It's like they're not just two parties; there are about 122.
Mhm.
So let's just spread them all out and not.
Yeah, I
get
feel
too
like there's a
nuts.
happy medium between 2 and 122. Sure, I feel like there's a nice
Somewhere.
Well, and people wonder, like, well, why are they going back to fascism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's because
'Cause it's tried and true.
Mussolini, he impregnated so many women. And it's, he
Yeah.
he spent 3 hours a day fornicating.
3 hours a day.
Yeah.
Who has the energy?
They would just round up women for him. And generally speaking, it was at gunpoint. And
Oh,
no,
Jesus.
it's
Oh,
disgusting.
that made it more exciting for him.
Oh,
Didn't it?
absolutely.
Maybe that was his kink. He liked to be held at gunpoint.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, it's anything's possible with Mussolini, but then, now we're seeing how the ancestors, right,
Mm-hmm.
of Mussolini.
Yep.
It's the Mussolini side. It's not the women's side, but after all, he was dominant.
He was. Yes, he definitely was dominant. Didn't they hang him and then castrate him because
They
it was
didn't do good things to him. I
They
know
did
that
not.
much.
They were a little light on
Fair
the
enough,
castration
though.
part.
Come on.
Oh, were they?
Yeah,
I
why
should've
would
cut
you
off
kill
more.
him and then castrate him?
Yeah, it seemed to have gotten it out of order.
Well, I'm not saying it was in any certain
Who
order.
wrote this call sheet up?
Yeah, the call sheet's wrong. You got the call sheet wrong. But that's the whole thing. And I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but there's been a lot of references now to Nazism lately.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think there's any chance that the Mussolinis and Hitlers of the world would ever emerge again?
I mean, are you saying do I or did I?
Oh, you mean like as zombies, or
No, not
you're
as
talking about the
zombies.
archetypes?
The archetypes.
Hmm.
Do you think that kind of thinking where you need to wipe out half the population?
I mean,
What
have
have
you
we
read
done?
Project 2020?
Well, that's yeah.
Have you read it?
No, I
It's
have not.
It's pretty close.
They want to wipe out everybody.
No, not everybody.
Just the good people get to stay,
Mhm.
and they get to decide who the good people are.
Mm.
And that project, what is it, 2020?
2025, yeah.
2025. That's why. Oh, that would make sense.
Mhm.
Yes, because of the presidential election. But where do these people come from? What are they? What is that?
What?
I mean, where did it start? This Project 2025, is that a New York thing or?
No, that's Trump's plan for next for.
Well, they say it's Trump's plan, but he says it's not.
Well, because he didn't write it up, so he could say that.
He's
You
absolutely.
think that guy's writing anything?
It's easy to believe him when he says he never read it.
Well, that's true. If he never read it, he never read
Too
it.
long.
So what does
Way
it
too
say?
long.
What? I've never spent any time on it. What does it actually say should happen?
I mean, I don't have it in front of me. You want me to
Well,
recite?
why didn't you? Yeah, you probably read it 15 times.
No, I didn't memorize it. I just needed
Liar.
to skip. Yes, it's how I go to sleep every night. I
Yeah,
just like
there
to read Project 2025. It's so comforting.
What are they trying to do in Project 2025? I don't pay attention to any of that stuff.
No?
No,
Oh, then why do you talk about it so much?
because I want to find out who's sneaking up behind me. That's why. These people are scum. I think our politicians now are the scummiest they've ever been.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, don't you think?
Wait, I mean, how do you think corruption works?
I
It
know,
doesn't
but
get
there's
better
worse.
generally.
Why is there corruption in our leadership?
When is there
Because-
not been
Because that's how
corruption?
capitalism
It's
works,
money,
my friend.
Money,
Yes.
money. It's always about money.
Yes.
It's funny.
That's why I'm always trying to find out what's the right amount of money before you become, the POS.
Yeah.
It's exactly how much I have.
Any more than that,
Yeah.
right?
Amount of
There's
money that you
an
have
amount of
is
money,
all
and
about
I think everybody's amount is different. I think there's an amount of money that you can acquire where you can be wealthy without being oppressive.
That makes sense. Okay. I wrote
Gelfand,
this.
what do you think that amount is? What do you think the right amount is before you start
Before
taking from others?
all I can say is I think it's because the best lack all conviction and the worst are full of furious intensity.
There you go. All right. I want you to read this.
Trying
I
to
wrote.
parse
Okay, so
that.
no answer. No answer. to me.
No,
Hey, that's Yeats. It's a classic.
I was going to say that sounds like poetry, but I also don't read poetry, so I don't know.
Okay. I'm going to show something. I wrote this morning at about 8:00
Mhm.
this morning. So this is what I wrote.
Okay.
It's basically what we're talking about now, I think. You can read it out loud if you want.
That's what it starts with.
It does.
Just 19 more days of you're horrible. No, you're horrible. The election, also known as the major money grab, is right around the corner. Thank you, God. Or can I even say that without insulting half of the planet? How about have a wonderful day?
Yeah, isn't
There
that
you go. Have a
Oh,
wonderful
Man, your
day.
text on your phone is so
It's
big.
big. It's
It's
big.
so big.
my text?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I don't think you would be able to read anything on my phone.
Let me see your phone, you liar.
Here, I'll show you.
And it has to start with
Here, I guess. Yeah, there's no way you can't.
You're
Look
making
how
it up
small
as you
it. Look
go
how
on.
small my text is.
Holy Christ. Is that you in the chair?
No, I don't know. I just opened.
Oh, thank
an
God. I
app so
thought
you
it
can
was
see
you
it.
in the chair.
Oh yeah, no.
No. No, but I just literally have gotten to the point. I am sick to death of both sides. Both do nothing but rip the hell out of each other.
Mhm.
How is that a good image for the rest of the world that we're ripping?
Oh, it's not. It's embarrassing.
It's really embarrassing.
It's embarrassing for people who travel.
Yep.
I made I like to make like little memes and stuff like that, and I made one, and it was a simple 6-second video. It was just the scene from Jurassic Park where Jeff Goldblum is walking up to the Triceratops that's
Yeah.
sick, and there's a
Yep.
huge pile of dung, and then he goes, "Man, that's one big pile of S, whatever." And then so I
You
posted
can
that.
say it. It's
I can.
yeah. you
Okay,
can say
good. Man, that's one big pile of shit, and it's a 6-second
No,
clip.
he didn't mean that part.
Oh, okay. Oh, thanks. You got me in trouble. You keep changing the rules
I
back
did.
and forth.
For
so
you only.
thank you.
That's all it works out.
When all I did was I was like, it was in the midst. It was like right before. It was before Biden stepped down.
Mhm.
As I was when I posted this,
Right.
and it was just that, and it was like how it feels to live in the U.S. right now. That's all I wrote. And the amount of insane people, and I'm talking about
Oh,
on
yeah.
both sides.
Oh yeah.
Insane people, like so many are like, this must have been a MAGA POS, like you have no right to say this, and then the other side is like only only some. It was just like both. It was the
I
most
know.
unhinged
Yep.
things, and then they would start arguing with each other, and I was like, this was 6 seconds. It was a bit.
It's funny how
I
many people
know.
will see a pile of shit and think this must be me. You must
Not
be
enough
talking
people,
about me.
Andy. Not enough people think that. That's the problem.
And just for comfort's sake, the rest of the world ain't doing that well either.
No, it's
No,
That's
it's
certainly
true.
not.
A lot of
Well,
countries. aren't
nobody
doing
really
great.
likes to address like what what the world's having a disease kind of affected us. Nobody's going to therapy and working on it because the therapist went through it too. So everybody, I think to go back to what you were talking about being angry, I think there's a lot of unprocessed things that everybody is carrying around. And so like you're just spidey senses.
Mhm.
You're just anxious and like, and I think that's just walking around like not being able to, not knowing any social cues, not knowing how to talk to people like a human being anymore. It seems like a lot of people have forgotten that, which is where the humanity is
Yeah.
being able to
Yep.
to see someone that you don't know, a complete stranger, and treating them not like crap.
But the good part about it is that the therapists who get the 1 star on Yelp,
Yeah. Yeah,
they're
1
busy
star.
every second of the day.
They got it covered.
Yeah, even they. It's
Just-
the greatest business in the world to be in, unless you're good at it.
Oh, let me ask you a question, because I was taught this by my mother and my sisters.
Mhm.
I don't hate anybody because
Mhm.
it wastes my energy and my time. There are people I don't like. There are people I don't want
Sure.
to be around. I still haven't judged you yet, but it's close. But why these people want to hate other people? Do they realize what that takes out of their heart and chest every day?
no, they
to
don't. They
hate
don't
people?
think about it. They don't
Why?
think about it. Well, because it's I think what people don't realize, and I think part of the reason that so many people are dissociating is because it's better to just not to be indifferent, to be apathetic, to not care, because
Oh.
that takes the least amount of energy.
Yeah.
And so then you just end up having things happen to you because you don't want to participate, because anytime you try to participate, somebody is either being hateful unnecessarily
Yeah.
or being dramatic in a way that's like that makes people not capable of listening anymore.
But
You
people, here's the thing:
Hmm.
people don't have books anymore. They have phones, right?
Hmm.
And ironically, there's no such thing as the phone book anymore. So
Nope.
I don't know how that really
Books and
works.
phones, the phone book. Yes,
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
absolutely right.
But it's true. I think things. I know this is probably just dismissed as the fond remembrances of a very old human being, but I do think we were better off when we had books and not phones.
Well, yeah, you weren't being
Yeah.
inundated with information constantly. You wouldn't be forced in a state of
Bad
being
information,
anxious.
wrong information.
Well, that's just information in
Yeah.
general. Being like that already heightens all of your senses to be constantly bombarded with data,
Yeah.
whether it's information or whether it's
Mhm.
misinformation,
Yeah.
whether it's just flashing lights or people dancing, like all of this stuff being constantly thrown in our eyes and in our ears is overstimulating. That's why
Right.
so many people, are going to see doctors to get drugs to not feel so heightened all the time, when really you just need to unplug.
Well, the thing is that books make you think and phones make you angry.
I understand that.
No, you can read on your phone. It's just what you're looking at. And
Yeah,
much like it's
right.
Well, you can, yes. but-
sure.
Well, the thing about like holding a book is there's no button on the book, so you can just go check your emails quick.
Yeah.
Or
But
you're
that's what
reading
I'm
a
saying,
book.
that
Exactly.
being
yeah.
inundated with different information. Oh,
Yep.
the notification. I don't have notifications on my phone. The only way you can contact me is if you call me. You have to call me or text me, and I have to see it.
Yep.
That's the only way that I can
Mhm.
communicate with you, because I don't want to be inundated. I like to think. I mean, that's the other thing that's like sucks specifically to stand up, is now you have to be a content creator. I used to love sitting around wondering about things, because that's how you come up with cool thoughts, because you
Right.
have time
Yeah,
to
yeah.
think about them. You have time to like really wonder about all the different perspectives and stuff like that. And nobody has enough time to do that, especially if you have children, you have a life going on. Like when do you have the time to pontificate? You can't even do that anymore,
Yeah.
because everything has to be done so quickly, and we're not evolving as quickly as everything else is, which is also overwhelming. So it's just
Yeah.
people are heightened, people are stimulated, people are mad because they feel out of control all the time. And then when you're inundated with misinformation and bad information and all that shit, then you get to a point where you don't know what to believe anymore. And then when you're at that state, I mean, it's easy to manipulate people. As a person who knows how to do it, it's easy to. It's basically my job is to manipulate people into having a good time,
Yeah, that's true,
regardless of
yeah,
how they
yeah.
come into the show. So it's like when you see from behind, like, well, you know what people are doing. I mean, it's the same way I can always spot a narcissist. It's very easy to see these people, these archetypes of people that need, or a megalomaniac or something, somebody who's only invested in obtaining power and promoting themselves. They have no interest in making things better and making things easier and
it's
making
very
people less
true.
anxious.
Now,
It doesn't matter.
Did you use the word megalomaniacs?
Megalomaniac.
Oh, I thought you said MAGA.
Yeah, I mean that too.
Yeah.
It goes.
Here we go. Gelfand has to spin the story.
I guess my hearing's gone too.
God, I tell you, I watch these things, these people talk, and it's like, would all of you just calm down with this?
Yeah.
It's just everything has to be so boisterous and blustery.
You know what it
and,
reminds me of? It reminds me
God.
of sales techniques from the 80s.
Yeah, yep.
That's all it is.
Yep.
You remember
You
all
just
that
never
all the
stop
shock
talking.
jock? Yes.
Yep.
Never stop talking. Always be
Mhm.
yelling. I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing right now, so I do apologize. But yes.
That's kind of what you do for a living.
You're talking about people yelling.
And incidentally, I really want to buy a ticket to your show. Where could I
What
find one of them?
What happened?
CarmenMorales.com for all your Carmen Morales needs. But yes, I'm way more whimsical on stage. 'Cause
Whimsical?
That's what I'm
So it's
trying to
me.
promote. Yes, it is you.
It's my fault.
It's your fault.
I understand it. Hey,
I haven't had my coffee.
Okay, Catherine, my wife. It's your fault. There's no question. No, I like the fact that we're talking about this because people are getting suckered in by not paying attention to all
Because you
these-
used to not have to.
You used to not have to.
You used
That's
to not,
correct.
you used to be just be able to get the cliff notes
Yep.
and be informed enough
Yep.
to make a decision. And now it's like, okay, well, is that true? Is this true? Now you have to write a research. You have to do research like you're conducting a research paper on something just to be basically informed. And it shouldn't be that difficult.
I was reading a story the other day, and I don't remember. It was in one of the newspapers that I like to read about, but it was a very objective story, and they were talking to people just about the whether who they believed, what they believed,
Mhm.
and there were a number of people who said basically, well, there's so much information out there, and I have no idea what to believe, so I just believe what makes me feel good.
So even if you're lying to yourself,
Mhm.
as long as you feel good, it's okay.
Absolutely.
Well, you're lying to yourself.
Right, of course.
Right. They're promoting delusion.
But they're so confused because
Yeah, I
they hear so
suppose.
much disparate information that they finally figure, I'm not going to try to figure out anymore who's telling the truth. I'm just going to believe the person who makes me feel better.
That's what it is all about you.
But it
yeah.
actually makes them feel worse, of
Yep,
course, in many
yep,
cases.
yep.
But it's something they're comfortable with.
Which is wild to me because ultimately, a lot of times you end up voting in the opposite of your best interest.
Well, that's the whole point of misinformation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's to get people to vote against their own what's best for themselves. Because otherwise, if people just voted for the things that truly made their lives better, then no one would know what to believe and no one would care about what they believe. And they wouldn't even believe what they thought made them feel better. That's how confused they would be. And I think that's kind of how they're confused now.
And that goes back to people dissociating, people not wanting to vote or participate.
Mhm.
Because if at the end of the day, if you want to be a decent person, if you don't want to be corrupt, if you don't want to support things like that, it's overwhelming to find out what the right answer is.
Right.
So
What are you looking at me for? Like I'm the evil one.
I'm not. I'm just telling
You're
you.
good,
You
though.
asked me, and I'm not speaking for all people my age or this generation that you're referring to. But I just know that they take a lot of naps. That's what I do know. That entire generation
Nothing wrong
takes
with
a
that.
lot of naps.
Yeah.
nothing
Of
wrong
course,
with
when
it.
you get to my age, you can't nap.
I
That's why you're up
understand that
at
as well.
4:30
No
in the
shot.
morning too. They don't let you.
Well, I'm only up at 4:30 in the morning to feed the cat. Then I go to bed for the next 8 hours.
God, I got to tell you. Oh, and Andy, this is good news too. So, Catherine and I have moved twice in the last 3 months because we found a place we wanted to live, and then there was a better place that opened up in the building. So, one of our moves was from one end of the building to the other. So, I mean, it was still a pain in the ass and all the rest.
Was that better view or?
No, there was one we're going after Better View. It's quiet because
that's
they
the
have to
whole
get up so
thing.
early.
Yeah.
The
Quiet.
Find the most quiet place we possibly could. So we went with a courtyard rather than a street side. They're all great places. Don't get me wrong, but it just, talking to different people about. I moved into a building. Catherine and I moved into a building. The first place with about 3 months ago was like August 1st or something. I don't know, something like that. Everybody in this building is so damn nice, and I'm wondering why that is.
Mhm.
Because a lot of places you live, man, you trying to find people who aren't grumpier than the son of a bitch is not easy.
Yeah, I've had some bad experiences.
I think that's why so many people in my age demo don't know their neighbors.
Yeah,
You
that
get
is
the-
true.
You get
Isn't
the
it?
curmudgeon ones and people who are mean for no reason, and they're like, okay, well, maybe if I just don't meet anyone, then
Yeah,
I won't have
yeah.
these awful experiences.
This, I don't mean to interrupt your story, but the worst experience I had, the first apartment building I lived in,
Mhm.
I was on this, it was 3 stories. I was in the second story. That's bad right there. You're sandwiched,
Oh,
right?
your sandwich. That's true. Yeah.
And the right above me was a woman who probably the only morbidly obese tap dancer I've ever seen.
Okay.
Right above me, yeah.
Okay.
Wooden floor too.
Mm.
And she tap danced
Yeah,
all the time.
it certainly sounded like it.
Oh
Yeah,
my
Must have
God.
been.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine.
but anyway, what were you saying?
No, I was not even. I just am thinking I really maybe indirectly referred to this before, but I am actually very sad right now that the human race is headed in the direction it's headed in. I just, my God, this is how you want to live your life, and all this turmoil and anguish and sadness.
Yeah.
Why do you want to live like that?
If we only
Nobody
had, if-
wants to live like that. What do you think? People are choosing to be
I
I
sad?
think
Look
a
who
lot
they
of
vote
people,
for.
a lot of people do.
and what is
Yeah.
our response to this? It's more guns and more drugs.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm on
Especially
board
if
for the
you're like
drugs, but
17.
not as much the guns.
Oh, you've got a gun.
What about
on you
guns
right
that shoot
now.
drugs?
Guns that shoot drugs. Yeah, what about that?
Now we're talking.
Mhm.
No, that stuff does make me very, very sad. I watch the news
Yeah.
at night and I go, it makes me really sad to know that this is how people want to live their lives.
That's why I mainly tune in like for the evening news on the networks. I tune in about 5:57, and that's when they had the story about the people who moved from Florida to Canada and left their cat behind, and 3 years later the cat showed up at their door.
Oh yeah, yeah, you see
'Cause
that.
I
about
like
once a
those
year.
stories.
Once
Oh
a
yeah,
year
or
they got that.
the water skiing squirrel, or
Sure.
yeah, those, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have enough animals on the news to be a palate
No, I
cleanser.
agree.
Oh, that's why. I mean, aren't we all suckers for the cats whose best friend is a wolf?
hmm
Yeah.
Those are great stories.
Oh yeah, the unlikely animal friendships.
Yeah, I love those. Yeah, and of course the story behind it is if they can get along,
Exactly.
why can't we?
Because there's money involved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wolves,
'cause
wolves
All
don't have money.
about money.
yeah, because a ferret isn't worried about stage 4 capitalism.
That's very. Is there anything we're ever going to be able to do about this? For the love of money is the root of all evil thing.
I don't think so.
I think that was written 2,000 something
Yeah,
years ago.
2000
So
something years ago, exactly.
I got to go home and change some money.
Everything is about money now, and maybe it's always been that way. And I think it's more severe now.
Well, yeah, there's
Um,
less companies, so yeah,
yeah,
there's
well, that's
there's less
a good
people
point.
involved. So
Yeah, it's a good.
you
point.
you have a handful of people making all of this decisions. So it's like on a money side it's becoming more and more what's it called? There's less and less people making decisions that way as well. So
Yeah,
it's there's less diverse thought in what needs to happen.
yeah, it is. Well, I mean, obviously, we're in a situation where you and Andy are in the age group that you're taking over now. So
Mm.
do a better job than Mike and I did, will you?
And try to. I mean,
And I suppose that's all you can do is try.
That's why it always amazes me when people say, those millennials. I don't know what's going on. They're just they don't want to work. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. And then you kind of have to remind the people saying that those are your kids.
Those are your kids, man.
So maybe you got to trace
Yeah.
it back a ways.
Well, it's upsetting to me because people always forget about that. And it's like, it's not that they don't want to work. It's that they don't, because of what they were taught, they don't want to be taken advantage of.
Right.
Mhm.
And they're not willing to become, to indentured servitude and working outside, working for free.
All we
That's
ask,
the difference. Is
all
they don't
we-
want to work for free.
all we ask is that they find the 3 or 4 jobs that they like, and then
Yeah, 3 or 4. Well, you got to be
And
able to
then
afford
live
to
in a
live.
studio apartment for the rest of their lives.
Yes,
That's the
but-
whole thing. While Big Rock buys all of the single family homes, they own
Mhm.
26% of the single family homes
But
in this country.
with 5 gigs, you could have a studio apartment with like 500 square feet.
Yeah,
There
I
you go.
could.
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
Now you're talking.
That's
So it's like it's not that people don't want to have kids. You can genuinely. It's like whenever I have a friend that tells me that they have they're having a kid.
Mhm.
To me, it's a flex. Oh, I didn't know you had kid money. That's
Hey.
wow. Okay.
There's a lot of people with kids that don't have kid money.
I know.
So there is that.
Sure, and that's sad. So people
Mhm.
would be like, we're like, okay, well, maybe I just won't have kids. I'll just have an animal. I'll have a pet of some sort. You
Oh,
know?
you got
I'll
pet
keep a
money,
lizard.
do you?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's cheaper. The lizard's cheaper. If he dies, you just get another lizard.
I don't know, that cat has been very expensive.
Cats can get
You
expensive.
know, you try to find a vet these days. No. You wind up at
No?
the emergency vet clinic
Oh,
where
and that is
they
not
charge
cheap.
like 4 times what vets used
That's
to.
Yeah.
brutal, yeah.
And you say, or what happened to me was, so my cat is dying, right?
Oh,
It's not now. Then
no.
then
Then,
my cat was.
okay,
I was going to present tense for dramatic effect.
okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
it was
Well,
a
it worked
mistake.
on me.
It was a mistake.
You just made everybody listening go, oh.
Oh.
I'm sorry. So yeah. So I have my cat's dying, and like I call the vet up. I've had this vet for like not any one particular, but the clinic. Oh, I'd say 30 years, maybe 25 perhaps.
Mhm.
And I call him up and I say, yeah, my cat's dying and I need to get her in. And she stopped eating and she doesn't poop anymore. She doesn't do anything. And,
Are you talking about Carmen now?
I know, right?
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
and so the receptionist says, oh, well, that's terrible. Let me see what we have available. And she comes back. Now this was
Oh,
like
no.
last January, right? And she says, okay, we can get you in March.
Okay.
And I
Well.
said, can you bring back the dead? Maybe you didn't hear me. So I wind up,
Oh.
at all night I spend at the emergency pet clinic where the first thing they do is a thorough diagnosis of your bank account.
Right. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's the first thing. And
You aren't lying about that.
and then while you're there, inevitably somebody comes in with a pit bull who's been shot.
Mm,
a pit bull's been shot.
Yeah, that's a very common thing because
Oh,
it's 3 a.m. by now.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And that's
Yep,
when pit bulls get shot.
they do.
And what can you say? Well, of course they have priority because they want to get them out of there, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So
And-
by the time they get their cat in, then it's even worse. Fortunately, the story ends well. It cost me $3,000.
Oh, I thought you were bringing your cat in to get euthanized.
Well, that would have been really cheaper.
That's
for
what I'm
sure.
saying. I was like,
much cheaper.
No, the thing is, I got the cat from a woman who really loved the cat, but she couldn't keep it, right?
Oh,
So there's no way I could call her up and say, well, by the way, the cat's dead.
oh, yeah, I could see that.
And
wait, you were cat sitting? Like it wasn't even your animal?
no, it was.
Oh,
It was, but she'd had to kind of give it up. So then I had the responsibility to her as well as the damn cat.
Yeah, there you go.
So anyway, they were able to scoop all the poop out of her intestines. And because I wasn't willing to reach in there.
you just stick your hand up
well,
your
yeah,
cat's butt.
I imagine not.
And then I got the next morning, there she was, purring, sleeping next to me. It was so cute until I found the 8x12 cemented turd
mm.
on my bedroom floor. And I spent the next 8 hours cleaning that up.
It was all concrete.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Cost me it really was about an 8-hour thing. And every now and then I'd look down and I'd say, I used to be almost famous.
All right, we got 1 minute left, sister. Big close.
Oh,
Where are you playing?
I'll be at Laugh Camp Fridays, Saturday. Make sure you guys come check that out. That's in St. Paul. And then October 24th, I'll be at the Plus in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And then on my birthday weekend, it's October 25 and 26 at
When's
the
your
Comedy
birthday?
Cabin, the 26th of
You are the
You and
exact
Andy.
age of me, huh?
You're the
Yeah.
exact
October
same
26th, 1986.
Mhm.
Look at that.
Really?
I
You're
knew I'd
born
meet
the
another one
same
eventually.
day? You were born the same day, literally.
Yeah.
Honest to
6
God.
a.m. for me.
I couldn't tell you.
I couldn't
My mom
tell
is the
you.
only one who would know that information. I think it was like 1 a.m. though. It was really early.
Same day, but I'd say different personalities.
You think so?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty
No,
boisterous.
we're pretty much the same.
Well, just extro versus intro, you know.
Mhm.
Although we got it covered on November 7th because Andy's son Ethan was born on my birthday.
Mhm.
Well, you don't have a
Yeah.
birthday
I
anymore.
don't
There's
have a
another shared
birthday anymore.
birthday. There
No,
you go.
that's it. You're done.
And basically his personality is developing just like mine did. He's a complete smart ass.
Nice.
2 years old, about to turn 3,
Hmm.
tells his father the other day, "Stop singing that crap to me."
Is it
Andy, I've
Ave
had-
Maria?
What were you singing?
Yeah.
Trolls? Paw Patrol? What were you singing?
It was a creature report from Octonauts.
Gotcha.
from Octonauts. Ladies and gentlemen, Carmen Morales will be at Laugh Camp Comedy Club tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, on Saturday at 7:30. Look, I mean, there's so many. I got to read this one more time because she didn't even know this was on here. She once saw a guy have a heart attack in Wisconsin, was revived by cheese curds.
It
There's-
wasn't a heart attack.
That's what it says here.
That's so wild. I don't know where you
It's
got that from.
It says right here.
It's just
So-
Chat GPT.
so what-
Make
I know,
something
that's
up
what I'm
about
saying.
Carmen.
Just because something's written on it. I mean, we need to talk about misinformation. This is what I'm talking
Well,
about.
what was
People
it?
think just because it's printed, it's
Now-
fact. I
now
don't
you-
even know what you're talking about.
Now
Somebody
you
was
Now you got me wondering, what was it if not a heart attack?
He was passed out drunk at a bar. He was passed out drunk, hunched over
Yeah.
at a bar. And normally when you have someone like that, you get him out.
Yeah.
And they didn't, because it was Wisconsin, they didn't kick out the drunk guy.
'Cause it
And
was Wisconsin.
you know, it's the only place I've seen that.
And I think,
And then-
yeah,
And then his friends,
that is funnier than heart attack.
yes.
It really
Thank
is.
you.
It really is.
He just needed some electrolytes and some protein, and he's good to go.
That's what, yeah. They pushed a basket of cheese curds in front of him, and he still didn't wake up. So they like lifted his head up and shoved him down his gullet, and
Mhm.
then he came back to
Up and
life.
Down his gullet.
It's a good joke.
I mean, it wasn't a joke. It was just something I saw.
It's still a good joke.
Thanks.
All right, that is going to do. You need to come back more often, sister.
Okay.
You really should. That was
All
a great
right.
show. It was nice having you in.
Thank you. It was delightful to be
Being
here.
attacked by a woman. I'm used to it.
You like it.
With Catherine.
You're one of
and-
those guys. I get it.
Catherine and my daughter. You know, I get attacked by women all the time. It's
Mhm.
unbelievable.
Mhm.
All right, that is going to do it. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.
Got a picture in my pocket reminds me of this one was before. Every time I hear the sing, reminds me how you talking.